Where is my inheritance? Why won't you give me my inheritance? My sister is the executor of my mom's estate and she won't give me my inheritance. What is going on? Give me my inheritance. Where is my inheritance? I want my inheritance right now. That is the number one question that we receive when we start a probate from the other heirs and beneficiaries. Usually by that point, the personal representative understands the process, but they may not have communicated that with the heirs, with their brothers and sisters, or whoever else is supposed to receive under the probate process. The quick answer to when are you going to receive your inheritance is after it's all done, and that takes time. And depending on where you live, your jurisdiction, your state, that could be several months to maybe even a couple of years. Like I said in other videos, we usually see probates last 4 to 6 months here where we live, but that is why it takes so long for you to receive your inheritance. The first thing that needs to happen is there has to be a petition for probate. So let's say mom or dad, let's say mom passed away, and so your brother or your sister comes into our office or to an attorney's office and says, we need to probate mom's estate. And so the first thing that happens is there has to be a petition for probate. And a petition for probate basically sets out what has happened. Mom died, these are the sons and daughters, mom had a will or mom did not have a will, and asks the court to appoint them as the personal representative or the executor, depending on where you live, the executor of the estate, of the probate estate. Now, just because we file that petition for probate does not mean it happens that very day. Usually what happens is there has to be a hearing at least 30 days into the future. And that can also be very dependent on the judge's schedule. If the courts are really busy, then there may not be a probate hearing for 40, 50 days. It all just depends on what the judge's schedule says. But whatever that is, we will have that very first hearing. Until that first hearing, nothing can really happen because nobody has the authority to act on behalf of this estate. And this is very important, and this is crucial, that during that 30-day period, their 40-day period, whatever it is, when somebody gets appointed, until somebody gets appointed, all of the assets really need to be secured. Nobody in the family should be going through stuff and trying to take stuff out of the estate, trying to take that painting on the wall, trying to take that television set, trying to take that couch. All of that, all of those now belong to the probate estate, to mom's probate estate. And that means they need to stay there securely. And so what a lot of times the person will do is the families will get together and they will put a lock on all the doors. They will literally put a padlock so that nobody can get in. You don't want anybody getting in there and creating the appearance of impropriety, so secure the assets. The other thing is you need to secure the bank accounts. Make sure that if there's any debit cards, those are canceled. If there's any credit cards, those are canceled. You might let the bank know as well that your mother has passed away and there should be no activity on that bank account anymore because she has passed away. Now, once the executor is appointed as the personal representative at that first hearing, then at that point, usually what happens is notice to creditors goes out, and it's notice to all creditors in the world, literally, that your mother has passed away, and if she owed them money during her lifetime, that they now have 60 days to come forward and file a claim against the estate. So again, we had to wait 30, 40 days for that first hearing. Now we have to wait another 60 days for that notice to creditors to run, to give creditors time to submit their claims. During that time period, the personal representative or executor will try to harness all the assets, gather all the assets, marshal all the assets, get them all together, figure out what bank accounts. Is there a bank account here, a savings account here, a checking account here? What financial accounts did she have? What retirement accounts did she have? Did she have any other real estate besides the house that she was living in? Maybe she had some rental houses out there. Maybe she was part owner in a business. That is the job of the executor, is to figure out everything that mom owned and bring it all together as quickly as possible and secure it on behalf and for the benefit of the probate estate. You see where I'm getting there? There's a lot of work to do before you actually get your inheritance. Now, during that same process, creditor claims may also be coming in. And if there is money in the estate to pay those claims and they are legitimate claims, then the executor personal representative has to go to the court and ask the court for permission to pay those claims. The personal representative cannot just pay people out of the estate bank account because they think that they should. In almost all jurisdictions, and it depends on where you live, there has to be a court order that allows the personal representative to pay those creditors or to pay those claims. And that is really a checks and balances. It's a protection for everybody. It's a protection for the heirs so that money is just not spent on anything, and it's protection for the executor so that they know that they have done it correctly correctly and they know that a court has approved what they're trying to do. Very important. Now, once that 60 days has run, we have satisfied, hopefully by then, all the creditor claims. We have marshaled all the assets, figured out what mom had. Some of that may have been sold. If there's extra real estate or even the real estate where mom lived, her home, that may have been sold, and the cash, everything is probably now in an estate bank account. At this point, we will do what's called an inventory. And we may have done an earlier initial inventory when we first started the probate, just to give everybody an idea. But again, it depends on the situation. Once we get that inventory, we send it out to all the heirs and let them look at it and figure out if they believe that there's anything that's missing, or do we need to maybe take something out because maybe it's gone. Maybe mom actually sold it years ago. Hopefully by then we have all of those questions answered. Then the next day or within a few days, a final account is filed with the court. This final account will say exactly what is in the estate. It'll kind of mimic or mirror what was in the general inventory, but it'll also say who gets what debts have been paid, what has been satisfied, and who the heirs are, and who gets what share of those assets. Now, once we file that, that is usually another 30 days to 40 days to get a court hearing, to get before a judge to see if the judge approves what's in that final account. Now, once that final account is approved at that final hearing, and remember, we are talking already about 4 to 6 months if you go by the timeline that I just gave you. That is why it takes so long to get your inheritance. It's not like just because mom died, somebody writes you a check. We have to go through this process to make sure that everything is done correctly, that we figure out what all the assets are, we figure out who all the heirs are, we figure out what all the debts are, what all the claims are, and then at the very end, the judge will issue an order directing the personal representative or the executor an order and telling them that they need to distribute the assets of the estate to the beneficiaries according to what's in that final order. So that's why it takes so long to get your inheritance. And I've said this in other videos, if the family starts fighting, that can easily create delays of a year or more in the probate process, because the courts have a lot of probates on their calendars that they have to hear every single day. Those are usually what are called uncontested probates. In other words, everybody agrees. But if somebody starts fighting, then they have to be set on a special calendar when the court has actual time, whether it's a half a day, a whole day, or 2 days, whatever it takes to hear those arguments. And that can take a while to get on the judge's calendar. So there are a lot of things that go into why it takes so long for you to get your inheritance, but you're not gonna get it right away after mom passes away. You're going to have to go through the probate process, and you're just gonna have to wait for it to play out. I know I've thrown a lot at you today, so that's why we've prepared our free guide on estate planning. I'll put a link to it in the description below and in the comment section below that, so that you can download it and get started in the right direction. And to help you out even more, watch this video up here and this video up here. If you enjoyed this video, then guys, please smash that subscribe button and click on the like button. And also click on that little bell so you'll get notified every time we post a new video. Have a great day and an awesome week. And as always, thanks for watching.